The Lekker Rugby Pod Instant Reaction with Harry Jones. Only on Megaphone Rugby.
Welcome back, Harry. It's like we're having Lekker Rugby Pod every day now almost. Springboks keep us busy. Last night was a roaring success, apart from the fact that YouTube took ages to upload it. So sorry for the late delivery. But yeah, it was a good one. Poop job and all.
Yeah, there's apparently some sort of drinking game now where they assign, like certain words that I say. I can tell you this, I didn't plan boob job. That just came out. But the idea behind it was, of course, appealing artificially with, engineering and constructing a different kind of rugby. I don't know about you, but for me, rugby's always been enough. I don't have to have any special, add-ons. It's all been good. What do you think about this team naming? It's strange. The Boks called last week a semi-final. So I suppose this is the final.
Well,
normally, when we have a final, knockout final, you know who you're going to pick. We don't know anymore.
I don't know, all these injuries, man. I was trying to, do the team beforehand so that when it comes up, I can just, do it quickly. So I don't have to sit down wasting, doing artwork and the likes. But, I don't know about what's going to happen at 15. Jaslyn is not there. Are they going to play Sasha at 15? And, is it going to be Esterhuizen or De Allende? Because I stopped. I'm going to just copy and paste and see what it does. So as you sit there, I'm waiting for the thing to come up now. So you'll see. No, I like rugby is good enough for me, but I like a little bit of Formula One on the side, like a mistress or something.
Yeah, it's interesting because we have some question marks here. We have his Ox back.
I can answer you.
Have the whole
Ox is back.
Okay, there you go. So one of my guesses was right.
Your first guess.
I filled in my team, and then I just kind of ran. I'm on the bench. I had no idea. So what's the team?
Can I read it to you?
Yes.
Exactly the same as last week. Except for Ox, Malcolm, Thomas de Tooy, Eben Etzebeth, Ruan Orkee, Sia Kolisi, Pieter Stef, Jasper Wiese, Koobs Reinach, Sasha FM, Ethan Hooker, Damien De Allende, Kanan Moody, Jason Colby, Damien Willemse, Bongi is back. That's a nice one. Jan Hendrik, Bulku, RG, Quagga, Grant Williams is back. Mani and Jesse Kriel also makes a return. So the bench mostly, that's changed. Only the bench. Good team.
Okay, so you have 84 cap, captain type Jesse Kriel coming back. Not a big thing, right? On the bench. And then I suppose it's good news. Ox's niggle was not a big deal. And then the next part is, I think, Vessel's playing at prop and making sure that Bongi has a run. You would think that that's also around line-out time. Did you say Lewitt's name or it's Argia?
No, Argia. No, Lewitt. I was trying. You fly all the way there, do nothing, carry tackle bags.
You fly a 6'10" guy on long haul, tied up in knots like a pretzel, and then you say, "No, it's okay." You just had a little trip to London.
Bring us some Cokes or Monsters or whatever it is they have to sponsor lately. That's it.
Okay, good. So it keeps faith with the shape. And you always have a problem. You always have this sort of conundrum when you have a big win, and Argentina faces the reverse conundrum is, my guys were humiliated. A lot of them gave up. Do I get them back on the horse and see if they can, redeem themselves, or do I chop and say, hey, it's accountable. Pumas rugby does not include staying out of the picture on scramble defense. On the winning side, you also have something there, which is, do I just sort of play the cards I had, niggles and all, because everyone's got a niggle by this point of the season? Do I just kind of keep that continuity, or do I ride the train and then use my opportunity to throw in someone who's less experienced? Like, hey, we're riding well, so let's just, Cheslin, you've been hit really hard a couple times. You've been down for a while getting treatment. Let's throw someone else in there, maybe a Mapimpi, just something like that. I'm pleased, since I'm going there, I'm going to be there. I'm pleased that this looks like a proper non-experimental team. It's just straight up a final team. This is finals, grand finals, knockout finals. We win, we win. No ifs, ands, and buts. The bonus points are out of the picture right now. You just win, and you win. And you get to hoist a trophy in front of adoring fans which will probably be 80% green in Twickenham, Twickenham, and then you party into the night because the game starts at 2, which is brilliant. That means you have maximum hours to fill that cup up with beer. Yeah, so it's nothing fancy here. I suppose also Williams, you said, on the bench. So that's go time. Williams Lubbock on the bench is a go time bench. You know, that's like no respite, no respite for the week. You know, just keep hammering. And then by this point, Kwacha and Archie are almost the most strange, odd couple in rugby. Like they almost run on together now. The biggest forward and the smallest forward
Laurel and Hardy.
And they look like they've been in actual wars. One's the Viking. One looks like he lost every fight of his life, but he keeps coming back, like a punch drunk, old fight, a boxer. No, MV, I love this. I love this team. I think it makes me happy to hear these names and look at these caps go up. And there's some guys here with some serious caps. Damien Delende at 92 caps now. We have Sia at 97. Peter Steff, the Malmesbury missile, coming in at 92. We got some guys that are chasing a century.
Interesting thing for me is Jesse Kriel as a utility. He can play wing, he can play center, he can play fullback. Wonder if that's where he's earmarked for, what he's earmarked for the future.
He's also a stabilizer, If we found ourselves in a sticky wicket and the Pumas come to play and they come to spoil and they play sort of Welsh rugby back in the day, where just everything is hard and they, kind of find a different gear. Kind of like bringing on Jesse Kriel because for all the good things that a young guy can do, a Moody, a Lubbock, a Sasha, what they haven't had to do often is gear down, We talk about the gears. You got to have all the gears. Like, what if you're going down a hill in Lesotho? And God help me pass.
Low range, blue, 4-wheel drive. Yeah.
Forget the brakes. I'm just going down to first gear. That's my brake. So there is that. I like that. He also comes, if he does come on, he comes on right next to Damien Delende and Mani Lubbock, and you've got an old firm there. They can talk to Mani and Grant Williams, and they can give the call. I think he's not a loud guy, but he's very good at reading rugby, and he can, he kicks for goal in Japan. A lot of those guys coming now from a Japanese standpoint, they've learned to become more like captains over there. And I think I like that. The other thing I like about this team is that you're presenting Argentina misery. You're like, hey, we just finished playing with basically this team.
Yeah.
Let's go play again. Yeah.
You gave up to this team, and here they are again. So your misery is going to just continue, like you said. I wanted to ask you about Argentina now. They had some time to recover, flying back. This is supposed to be their home game. I'm sure they're starting to regret the fact that they want to play at Twickenham. Rather would have played in Tucumán or some godforsaken place, get the crowd behind them, the local crowd. But what could they have done differently in this last week? How can they turn this around in a week, or less than a week for that matter?
Oh, and by the way, they'll make about 4 times the amount of money by staging their home game in London. So there's your reason. They don't have a elite domestic league making the money. For them, almost all the top teams, I think 80+% of their revenue is driven by their team, their test team. Even though you only get 6 home tests, for the Boks, for example, that drives 4 out of 5 every rand you make is from those 6 games. So for Argentina, I think I understand the play here, which is, they reap this. What can they do differently? Anytime you get demoralized, emasculated, pants pulled down, bum cheek hiding, what you don't do is a lot of the same. So you sort of go into a weird mode where you say, I was going to do that because it makes sense, but now I'll do the opposite. What you don't do is say, if we just do everything we did last time, but do better. No, that's not going to work. There's something very wrong with the shape. As these two shapes collide, it's like putting, Lego pieces together and you try to force it in, a jigsaw puzzle, forcing it in. You're like, hey, stop that. You're ruining the puzzle. I think they have to approach this quite differently. I would propose for them, if I was called in on a 1-week consultancy, to go back and watch the Lions game where they beat the British and Irish Lions in Dublin and play like that. It was remarkably patient. It was really confident in their defense. It was a commitment to defense. I think they showed they can lock down the Boks for 20, 25 minutes. And no team, by the way, no team plays well for 80 minutes. That is a fiction. Anyone who's saying what an 80-minute performance doesn't happen in rugby. No one gets to get everything their own way for 80 minutes. There's always something. The other team has a say. The bloody ref can say something crazy. The stupid ball-shaped thing can bounce the wrong way. So if they can put together 30 minutes of miserable, like we're miserable, we'll make you miserable. Okay? So the idea here is we're in misery. We don't like it that the Boks are so happy. Let's make everyone miserable today. So grind down, Welsh quarterfinal, Welsh semifinal, in the World Cup kind of a game. I don't know if Argentina could do this, by the way. I'm just saying what they could do and should do. And then, but be ready on the counterattack. That's how they beat the British and Irish Lions. They only had 30% of the ball against a really better team than them, and they still won. And they won kind of easily because Malia, Chocobares, Carreras, they took every chance and they went. It was go time. But until they went, they did nothing. Like they committed to play no rugby. Calibrating that perfectly, very difficult. A lot of that rests on the number 9, and the number 9 is obviously, done. It's a terrible shame to see the young man get hurt that badly. So now you're going to have to worry about who drives the team, I suppose.
Yeah, I've said this many times before, but it always reminds me of the little boy, Dutch boy, trying to stop the leaks in the dike. Where do you do it? I mean, they've now had time to sit down and see, but that cross kick to Cheslin, how they're going to counter that. And this, little dervish will, you call it, of Sasha before the post, like how can they counter that? Do they do that? Throw workout counters, or they just, like you said, play their own attacking style, be ready to pounce when they can, and hope for the best kind of a thing? Because I know you explained a lot of that here, but I'm still wondering. If I was them, I would have sat up till 3 o'clock in the morning trying to analyze what we did right, the Springboks did right, and how we can counter that. Because like you said the other day, that cross kick to Cheslin is almost indefensible. They have to find a way to counter it. Otherwise, all they have to do is kick across and he scores every single time. How do they do it?
It's only defensible if you know it's coming, right? Because then you actually defend differently. The problem is that Sasha is very instantaneous in his movements. He's the kind of guy who looks like he always has time, but his movements are really quick. And it kind of sounds weird, but the best players, the Dan Carters, who he's being compared to at that age, guys, don't get ahead of ourselves. Dan Carter had this ability to make it look like the game was slow for him, but it was quick for everyone else. So Sasha has that kind of gift of, I'm doing things because I want to in my pace. You look like you're no time. So the problem with the indefensibility there is you have to read it. And if you look at Mani Lubbock or Sasha, reading their eyes is very difficult. They look the wrong way on purpose. So they give you all kinds of false signals. Okay, so the answer is, and this is sort of old rugby doctrine, is do less. If you're the team that got monstered and they could play again, do less, not more. Don't try to do more. Try to win these 2 minutes, this attack set and this defense set. These 2 minutes and these 2 minutes and these 2 minutes. I won 7 out of the 2 minutes of these 2-minute chuckers, and you won 1. Okay, and now the score is 6-3. Good. That's good enough for me. That's all you do. Small ambitions, right size your aspirations. Don't get too crazy, because all that crazy stuff from the Pumas is what gives Sasha Cheslin a wayward kick, a mistake, a drop ball, and then Cheslin's gone. He's waiting for that intercept all the time. So I think that's one thing. And number 2, what you do is you attack the frailties of the Boks, which still exist. The lineout's been a frailty all year. Why would it suddenly be fixed? So you get Guido Petty in the air, 2 towers. You don't just lift one defensive guy, you lift 2. So make Bongi coming in, throw over 2 guys. Make a very tired Malcolm Marx throw over 2 guys. Let's see. You would take a few chances at the scrum, maybe. When a team believes that they're better scrum and they get monstered, it's a bit like the Bulls against Leinster, early days in the final. It was so strange to see something not work that it made everyone puzzled. It's almost like what the Stormers did to Leinster in Cape Town is, Jack Boyle's a really good prop. Robbie Henshaw's a really fine player. Sam Prendergast, these are like top players, and when things didn't go for them, it didn't work. So attack things the Boks need to go right. So line out and scrum, set piece, and then play less rugby. Be boring. Just literally believe you are Jack Morgan for Wales, playing the Boks. You know you're supposed to lose. So what do? You lose less. And if you lose less for a while, then suddenly it's 65 minutes and the score is 17-14. Game on. You know, the scoreboard pressure affects everybody. But then that's where the Boks have an antidote. They get to bring on Jesse Creel, Archie Sneeman, known operators, Wilco Low, and so they can right the ship. So overall, I would say if we lost this, it would be a pretty big choke. But I like that we're approaching it as continuity, knockout game, and we're riding the luck. We're saying, let's not like pull out Sasha and say, "Ooh, knockout game, put in Pollard." Let's just give the young man a chance at his 15th cap.
Was my next question is it a change of the guard? Because you would have expected Twickenham maybe a bit wetter, maybe a bit slower, a bit more slippery, fall back to the old guard almost. I spoke to Jan de Koning this morning, and he also said Andre is no longer in the 23 anymore. It's going to be Marnie and Sasha, the Sasha and Marnie, kind of thing. Do you see that as well?
Now, don't you think that Andre is basically at this point an insurance policy? So he's not your main game driver anymore if we're going to play this type of rugby, but he's an insurance policy because a lot of rugby at the highest level gets decided by who's your weakest guy in your squad of 35. So back in the day, the weakest All Blacks in a squad of 35 were pretty damn good. And now that's not true. Like our weakest guys are better than their weakest guys. And, everyone's got top score. Everyone's got Artie Surveyor is great. How do you compare Artie Surveyor, Peter Stiff to Toy? Doesn't matter. 1A, 1B. But look at who's my third string fly off? Andre Pollard. I win. Okay, because who's your third string? I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what the All Blacks third string is? Is it that guy from the Chiefs? And you have a hard time remembering the names, right?
Yeah.
Or is it that young guy from the Crusade? I don't even know their names. And I do know New Zealand rugby, so that's not. I'm not trying to be silly right now. I don't know. And then when you look at number 9, after Cam Roygaard, who is your third best? Is it Finlay Christie? Is it Ratima? So I think let's just sort of look at Pollard as an unbelievable insurance policy because rugby is a contact game and people get hurt, and they're going to get hurt, right? So let's say that happens. Unfortunately, like for Stephen Donald for the All Blacks, their fourth stringer had to come on and bang a few goals over to win in the World Cup in 2011. That's the white bait theory of Stephen Donald was fishing somewhere, and they called him up and said, "Hey, come over here and kick a few goals and win." Yeah, that's Andre Pollard. That's Mornay Steyn for the Lions series. You always need a guy who can make a pressure kick, and Andre is a professional. He will stay fit. He'll be ready. He's a leader in the group, mentally, cerebrally. So why wouldn't you want him? I think this is a lot of these things that we do on number 10s. It's like Ireland does with Jack Crowley and Sam Prendergast. It's just culture wars. I think someone said something really great. They said if Mani Lubbock and Andre Pollard had a baby, it would be Sasha because he can kind of do what both of them do.
That's so good.
So let's use it.
Yeah, so accurate, actually. Listen, now you mentioned number 10. So a lot of people commented on your 9 points that you raised last night in the Black Rugby Pod. And one of the number 10s that they wanted to add to your list, and one of the number 10s was exactly what you said earlier. Let the scoreboard do the pressure, apply the pressure. It's quite an important thing. So have a look at those comments. You'll be surprised, how people took to it. Thanks, Harry, man. I think this was an interesting one. Let me get this out.
The Lekker Rugby Pod Instant Reaction with Harry Jones. Only on Megaphone Rugby.